Hello, everyone. This is Aaron and my co host Candace with the Totally Awesome Show. And we have a very super special, stupendous, out of this world guest today, Anjali Bhimani, which
Hey
needs no
guys,
introduction, but it's my job to do it anyway. So, whatever.
you're very, very sweet. Thank you. I've never heard the word stupendous before.
I'm trying to
Never
bring it back. I'm
used,
trying to, a lot of those old
I mean, I've heard
timey.
the word. I've heard the word, but I mean,
Yeah,
never used
right.
in terms of me. I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun.
Right.
And you,
Yeah.
so thanks for that.
No problem. No problem. So, how have you been other than busy?
I mean, great, busy, like you said, but all good things. I always like to, I describe it as sexy problems because it's a very, when you have to choose between awesome things and that's the challenge, ain't nobody allowed to complain about that.
Right. No, it's not a bad problem to have. Being good
No.
busy. Bad busy, not so much, but good
Yeah,
busy. We
busy,
like it.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Busy with good things, and
Yep.
I've got my family and my health and all of the good things that we need there that are impossible to replace. So,
Yes. Awesome.
The
which is
important
Awesome.
great.
things.
Exactly. By the way,
Yes.
Candace, I have to comment on the awesomeness of your eyeliner wings.
Thank you so much.
They are on a point.
I appreciate that so much. It's taken years to perfect, but I mean, they're there now. So
Anytime I try to do something like that, I just look like I had my pencil near my eye and then I turned my head and all of a sudden everything went horribly wrong.
Well, that's a new way to do it, I've heard. Like there's tutorials you're
No,
supposed to do, and I'm like, if I
oh,
wanted to lose an eyeball, that's exactly how I would do it because I feel like I would end up ripping
no,
something. So,
I don't know. It looks
yeah.
great on you. Looks great on you.
Yep.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yep. She's the looks and I'm the brains or brawn or so, I don't know. I'm here.
He's
So,
the charisma.
she gets me into places and then I do the rest of the work. So,
All right,
yeah.
fair, fair,
Yep.
fair. It's a perfect team.
Exactly. So I would ask, what you've been up to. Let's talk about what you haven't been up to because you've been up to everything it seems like lately. You've been completely crushing it. You've been doing, roles. You're part of the Marvel universe now.
Just
Been doing all kinds
so
of red carpet stuff. I mean, what? How crazy has that been? All the
I
stuff
mean,
that you're in.
it's been wonderful. I mean, obviously, look, the awards shows and the red carpets and all of that, they are, I want to make it very clear to people that as glitzy and amazing and wonderful as they are, and I love going to all of them, they are the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what matters as a performer and as a
Mhm.
creator. And I never want people to think that that is something that is like that shows that you're successful because it doesn't. It's not the only like there it's one part of a very like a very big pie.
Hmm.
um, but I have had some wonderful experiences at those red carpets and at those shows, and I can't deny that it's been really, really fun. It's the best part of it, honestly, is getting a chance to meet people whose work I've seen and getting to come to them as a peer and say, "Oh my God, I so appreciate everything that you've done. You're so incredible." Just last week, or not last week, it was like a few days ago on Emmy's night, I got a chance to meet uh, Liza Colon Vargas, and she's from The Bear. And I mean, Zayas, not Vargas, I'm sorry, Liza Colon Vargas. And she is so extraordinary. And I got to talk with her for a nice long time and tell her like all of the things I love about her performance in the show and getting a chance to give that love to someone else or to, I got to foist all sorts of love on Kristen Chenoweth because she inspired so much of my musical theater career. And
I
I think
love
it's
her. She's so
it's
cool.
incredible, right? And
Yeah.
she's also one of the sweetest human beings. Like everything you see and you
Hmm.
expect her to be, that's that's who I met in person. She's absolutely just like a pure delight. But getting a chance to do that means so much because those people have affected my life as much as they've affected yours and anyone else who's
Hmm.
watched them. It's inspiring, it's exciting. It as a performer, it definitely gives you like a sense of like, wow, look at all of the amazing, unique creations and creatives that are out there doing extraordinary things. Um, so yeah, that it is validating in the sense that when you're in the room with those people, you get a chance to tell them how awesome they are. That
Right.
to me
For
is what
sure.
matters so much more than
For
anything
sure.
else. And it's fun to play dress up. Who doesn't
Oh
love
yeah,
playing
no,
dress
you and it's cool to
up? You
celebrate. You're all
yeah.
having fun celebrating art. I mean, there's nothing wrong with
Mhm.
that. It's
No,
a good
absolutely.
time,
And I
man.
think I think we have to celebrate art. I just think that people have to remember that you can celebrate your art in more ways than just award shows.
Right.
Yep.
Like taking the time to celebrate what you've created is a huge thing. And I admit freely, I'm really bad at it, doing it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I finished that. Let's move on to the next thing. Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad people liked it. Let me move on to the next thing. I
Right. Right.
tend to forget to take the win.
Mhm.
My poor husband is always like, babe, take the W. Why are you like, slow down, take a moment, acknowledge
Take a
what you
break,
have,
appreciate.
Right.
take a breath, say,
Mhm.
yeah, I did that, put in patches, do something.
Right. Right.
But I immediately go to, okay, let me see what we could do better next time. I
Right.
immediately skip that step. So having a chance to, in a very structured way, celebrate with other people just reminds me that, okay, yeah, that's an extraordinary experience, but we got to figure out how to work that into our daily lives and how to work that into each project we're doing. And
Mhm.
especially as a producer, finding all of the ways to celebrate that within the process with everyone, because not everybody gets recognized.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
You don't, this is nobody's giving out an award for best gaffer,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
best grip, or anything. Like although they should be, giving everybody a chance to celebrate the contribution that they made, that
Mhm.
only they could make, is it's really important. So it's a good lesson that I'm learning, because last year I go, and then I looked back at the end of the year and I was like, oh my god, I need a 9-week vacation, and we've
Right.
got
Oh
9
yeah,
weeks.
for sure.
Oh god, let's go.
You
Well,
need time to recover.
I
Yeah.
think that's honestly, that's kind of the curse of the creative brain, I feel like, because, Candace does writing, I play guitar, do art, all kinds of stuff. And, I'll do something, send it, especially the last year or two, I really have been wanting to, like, I'm just going to get stuff out there. I'm going to do it, even if it's, just the skeleton of something, I'm going to get it out there. And then if someone, oh man, that's awesome. That was really cool. You're really, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, dude. Like I can't handle, I think that's part of the creative brain. It's hard to kind of acknowledge, like, yeah, actually that was really cool and all the hard work did pay off, but I'm ready to get better or do something.
I think there is a difference between the one difference that I want to parse there is there's a difference between not being able to take a compliment
Right.
and not being able to clock the win.
Right. True.
I think the way I learned, like really hit home to me to take compliments, is that if I don't accept a compliment genuinely from a person, I am taking away their joy in
Right.
that moment.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because whatever I think of my performance or whatever they're talking about,
Right.
they had this experience. And if I turn around and be like, oh God, my performance was so bad, or something like,
Right.
oh God, it was the worst night. I can't believe you came
Right.
to this show. Like,
Right.
it's so cruel to do
Mhm.
that to
Right.
someone. Whereas
Mhm.
when someone takes that, and then when you take in the compliment, you can take that moment of like, oh yeah, I didn't see it that way, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, that was
Right.
pretty cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you inspired somebody or you touched them in some way, and that's about storytelling.
Yep, exactly. And sometimes it's just by virtue of being the person that you are,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mhm.
I think is also underrated. I
For
think
sure.
when we're used to who we are, we forget that we're a unique expression of
Mhm.
things, and
Definitely.
that there's only one you, there's only one me, there's only one, there's only one of us. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm turning this into a whole like therapy session.
No, it's good. We
No,
we
it's
love it. We
great.
love to therapize. It starts off fun,
Yeah,
and then we get at these deep therapy sessions, and
yeah,
it's cool,
Yeah.
man. People need to hear it because a lot of people have those same feelings. It's hard to
sure.
kind of
Mhm.
self-congratulate and self-accept that, hey, I did do a good job. That's
Yeah,
really
and to
cool. So
trust that again, it does not matter, as lovely as it is to get recognition,
right, for
big
sure.
scales or medium scales or small scales, like giving it to yourself and trusting in yourself, giving
Mhm.
it to yourself, and then saying, okay, cool, now that I've celebrated, yeah, then I can go back and be like, what could I do better? But first,
Mhm.
I got to celebrate.
Right.
Exactly. You gotta have fun with it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of all that, and we're at the end, the congratulations part. How did you get started? Where did the bug come from to entertain or
I
do
The
mean,
inspiration.
anything creative?
I think it was many, many things along the way. Like as a little, I really loved to like write stories and do little plays with my family, like do
Mm-hmm.
little performances in front of the family, all that kind of stuff. And then you do the school play. And then after you do the school play, you go to the drama department in high school. So there's all of that. Plus I did community theater. And I didn't really realize that it was an option as a career until somewhere in high school when I was looking at colleges and I was like, oh, wait, there's like major theater. That's a thing. I can
Right.
do that. And
Right.
it seems so silly to not clock that those people who you are watching and being entertained by, like to not recognize that, oh, wow, well, if they're doing it, it can be done as a career.
Right.
So once I realized that, and my parents were very, very supportive, which is not always the case with immigrant parents and not always the case with South Asian parents, but they were incredibly supportive. And their only thing was, okay, if you're going to do it, treat it seriously like any other job, which of
Right.
course I was going to do because that's how I rolled, and make sure you can make a living at it.
Mhm.
So be really good at it and make a living at it.
Yeah.
That's
Figure it
great
out.
advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, figure it out.
Right.
And ultimately, I think our parents just want us to be secure
Mm.
and happy. So if you
Mhm.
can do that, you know,
Right. They don't want to see you keep doing the grind over and over and not getting any
Yeah,
reward. You want to
yeah.
see something for it. Yeah.
or if you're doing the grind, they want to see you happy doing it.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
I am working 10 times as hard as I worked at the beginning of my career, but I'm having a blast.
Right.
And
You
it
know,
looks like you are. It's
even when
amazing.
even when I'm at my most stressed, in my gut, I'm like, okay, but you asked for this, so
Right. Right.
but yeah, bitten by the bug, it was all sorts of things. I remember a few different school plays. I remember a production of West Side Story I did at Westminster Community Playhouse, like all of that. Honestly, I think what really, I take that back. When I saw a production of Kismet, the musical Kismet, it was either at Cal State Fullerton, or I think it was at Cal State Fullerton, and I saw it, and it was a number of things. One, live theater done very, very well, blown away. Two, a gorgeous musical with incredible music. But three, a story that came from a region that was not America.
Right.
So I could possibly do this thing in this very well-known, beautiful musical that took place at that time. You know, that show takes place in the Middle East, but there are so many other stories. There are so many that people are telling these stories from all over the world. So that, and then movie-wise, it was West Side Story for musicals. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm
I'm
in.
in. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
All in.
That's what I'm doing. And then very, very strangely, the movie that like made me want to do film, and I can't believe I'm about to admit this publicly, was Speed. There was something about the way I was hit by Speed when I watched it where I was like, I want to do that.
It's a good movie, though.
It's an awesome movie.
Great movie,
Yeah.
but most people are like Citizen Kane. God
Yeah,
forbid.
no,
No.
no, that's the fake. That's
I'm
the fake
in.
answer. It's really, you know, I would say something like that. You know, it's The Godfather, but it was actually Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You know, if I had
or
to, you know, if I had
Speed,
to,
or Blade Runner, or like all
yeah,
of these things that create these incredible worlds that you can
right,
be a part of. Yeah, and then I just didn't realize my entire career has been a series of moments where I was like, oh wait, I didn't know I was allowed to do that.
right,
Like, which is why moving from theater into television, I was like, oh, I'm allowed to do TV. Cool. I didn't,
Yeah.
of course, you're allowed to do it.
right, yeah.
Exactly. Of course.
It's acting.
doing it.
Yeah,
Someone's
It's telling a
doing it,
story.
but with you. But for many years, I waited for permission
right,
until I finally realized, oh, well, if someone's doing it, then I can do it.
right,
You know, as far as acting is concerned, not anything. I'm not going to be a pro basketball player, and
right, right.
that's out of my lane and out of my reach,
Well,
literally.
hey, yeah,
But yeah, so the bug bit me in many different ways in over the course of my career.
very cool. Yeah,
I was gonna say that's wonderful because I know that you have dabbled in video games as well, and then you've also dabbled in tabletop RPGs, which I'm a huge fan of Critical Role. I love your characters, so I greatly appreciate you telling that story in a very inspirational way.
And I would venture to say, here's the cool thing. Like, we talk about dabbling in this and that, and it sort of makes us feel like we might be dilettantes at something and just like stepping in and doing that. But as a storyteller, they're all branches of the tree.
Mhm.
oh, absolutely.
There's
Absolutely.
no one like, so you can absolutely do all the things. You can absolutely be a voiceover actor and be a television, and not so much necessarily have to be like, well, I'm really this, but I kind of do this on the side.
Right,
You have a choice now in today's day and age to be many different. You can be so many different things, and actually really do them and do them well and do them. And it's such a beautiful time to be an artist in that sense.
absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's so many cool avenues now. We've talked about this with a few people with the internet and social media and just being able to create and produce your own kind of at least starter content, it's really
Absolutely.
easy for an artist to at least get themselves out there, which is very
Yeah,
cool, you
yeah.
know.
I think there is, along with the joy of that, there is also a pressure that is put on that
Hmm.
can tend to stifle the creative spirit,
Right.
which is that pressure to get followers, that pressure to
Right.
get
Yeah.
reviews,
Yeah.
likes, whatever the thing is. That I feel like that is very much the death of creativity in the sense that it's the same as going into an audition and trying to be what they want you to be
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
instead of playing the role you would play.
Yep.
Now
Yes.
you're not being creative. Now you're just trying to ask, what do you want?
Right.
Hmm.
Yep.
I think the internet and particularly social media definitely encourages us to think about what other people want before what
Hmm.
we want to create.
Right. It has to
Being
be a sure
authentic.
bet. Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
very, very fine line, and I fall prey to it all the time. I am not, I have no defense, or I shouldn't say I have no defense from this, but it happens to me too.
Yep.
And that sense of, no, 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 what do I want to put out there? I don't care if no one sees it, or I care if someone
Mhm.
sees it because I want people to see it. That's
Right.
why I
Right.
put it
Right.
up. But I don't care if it's super popular. I don't care. I care that I want to do this thing. I want to share this story. I want to try this new medium. I don't think innovation comes from a place of wanting to figure out what other people want. I think innovation comes from seeing there being a hole in what's available and wanting to be the person who takes care of that or who provides that, being a problem in the world that you want to solve.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think innovation comes out of those places, not so much from like, what do you want me to be?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which
Exactly.
I definitely I think that is there's so much entertainment out there. There's not the focus on taking chances as much or doing something passion projects aren't, you know,
It's
as
hard. Yeah, it's
readily
hard.
available.
It was already hard to do those. I mean, look how hard
Right.
it is with an indie film or a short film.
Right.
It was already hard to do those, but with so many people, sorry so much. That's Lucy Pohl, by the way, who's texting me.
Who was
So
that?
Lucy Pohl, hang on a
Oh,
second.
yeah, yeah. No, no.
Hey, in an interview.
Hey. We'll give a shout out too,
Yeah.
Thanks for interrupting, Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. We have a fantastic editor that can edit anything out that we
Yeah.
I mean,
going
I
in
think
there.
it's awesome.
Yeah, it
No,
is.
no, actually this will be our
Other people
TikTok.
know.
It'll be,
You know what?
hey,
I legitimately just shut down my messages and it's still pinging. I don't know how to make this stop. You guys, I suck at this. Okay. We were, oh yeah, it was already so difficult to be able to focus on the art of what you want to do. But then, you think about like, I was just talking about this, Spider-Man 2 just came out.
mhm,
Mhm.
It took them 5 years, from what I hear, to put that whole thing together. Now, can you imagine putting your heart and soul into something for 5 freaking years and not
Mhm.
knowing
right.
on the other end out of it? And they did some extraordinary, groundbreaking. I mean, the art in that, the animation, it's mind blowing to
It's
me, right?
gorgeous.
It's gorgeous,
Oh
and
yeah.
performances are just like,
Mhm.
oh, they're
We
so good.
we have to give a shout out to our buddy Jim Peary, who we've met through the Red.
Oh,
We're buddies with a
Mhm.
lot of the Red Dead actors now. We did an event with
yeah,
them in Tombstone, Arizona. Jim, at whatever accolades he gets, it's not enough because
It's not
he
enough. He's
is
amazing.
amazing in everything he
absolutely.
touches. Like I can't we cannot wait to finish the game and get more Craven because he's so. I mean, Yuri is Yuri. Yuri is,
Of course, you're and
fantastic too.
Laura and all of the
He's
others,
they're
like,
so good. They're all so good. Yeah.
yeah, but he just,
Hmm.
wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they made him extremely hot in that. Not that he isn't hot in real life, like he's a very good-looking dude.
Yeah, he is. He
You're
is.
watching it, you're like, why am
Right.
I terrified of you and attracted to you all
Yeah.
at the same
Right.
time?
You're right.
A
Yeah.
great
It's
villain.
it's basically Jim in a furry vest, which none of us are going to say no to. I mean,
With like
not
900
to embarrass him.
extra pounds of muscle, because no
Yes.
human being is built like that character.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
That character is terrifying.
Yes.
He's
But
definitely a Jim bro.
Yeah.
the point being, like, it's to be able to put your heart and soul into something when you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know what's going to be on the other side there. That is an act of tremendous courage, and anyone who is doing that out there, anyone who's doing a live stream that they've never done before, or
Right.
anyone who is putting up content that they're like not sure, they're not trying to beat the algorithm. They're
Right.
trying to make something cool.
Yeah.
I think that is an act of courage in today's day and age, especially because so much importance is put on those vanity metrics.
Right.
Exactly.
It can be very seductive to fall into that pattern,
Right.
and it can be very scary to break out of it.
Right.
So it's, yes, there are all of these wonderful avenues for us to create, and with those come additional pitfalls as an artist. How do you maintain your artistic integrity and still make something that the world
Right.
wants?
Mm-hmm.
Always like that's where the hungry part comes from.
Right, for sure. And you know, being a musician, I know you probably know yourself with your circle, but you know, industries have become more of that. It has to be a sure bet or we're not going to take a chance. You know, there's so much of that out there, which is I'm you know, you on the one hand you get it, it's a business, you have to make money, but I think it goes so far into that where, you know, if it sounds a little too risky, we need to make sure it has A, B, and C in it, or it's not going to sell to the kids, which, you know,
Which is
it
tough
happens.
because, you know, there is a difference. I don't believe that art and commerce don't mix. They have to mix. I mean, you can
Right.
make an Angelo had a patron, so
Yeah.
so that you can absolutely make a living as an artist. And this is something that I teach. I have a course and some coaching that I do, teaching people how to let go of the myths of the starving artist and focus on the truths of the hungry artist. How do you stay hungry to create, but also, you know, you don't have to live out of your car unless you want to. Like, how do you
Right.
make it happen? And I think that one of the ways that you can do that is reminding yourself that what you create is worthwhile. Someone out there needs it because it is a unique creation of your own. And that, yes, you deserve to be seen, deserve to be, even the work, just the work in and of itself is an accomplishment, like we were talking about celebrating the win earlier, but also giving yourself that sense of, just because the money people don't see it doesn't mean that I don't see it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if I see it, there is someone out there, I don't know who they are, but there's someone out there willing to take a bet on me.
Yeah.
That goes for relationships. That goes for, which I can speak to. I'm going to speak to that in a second, especially because I know, Aaron, you know who my husband is. That goes for everything in the world. That just because not everybody sees it doesn't mean it isn't worthwhile. And once someone sees it, who knows how it will explode.
Yeah.
Funny story that I was totally, but this is why I was saying, like, about my husband. So when I was in New York, when I lived in New York, and I was having not great luck in the dating world, so I decided to go on eHarmony and fill out the 94-page thing.
The job it's a job resume, basically.
It's a job resume. And back then they were very keen on saying, like, hey, we can absolutely match anyone. That's why we ask these questions. So I answered all the questions. I got to the end, and they said I got a screen that said something to the effect of, you are part of the 1% of people that we absolutely don't have a match for. And so at the moment I was like, oh my God, I am undateable. Like, there's something wrong with me. Flash forward a few decades, and my husband goes, oh, no, baby, that's because you're so unique. You had to wait for me.
Right.
That's
You know,
perfect. That's perfect.
That is perfect.
Totally Candace, trust me, he's ridiculous. He's king among men.
Yes.
But that I think applies the same for art. Just because this money person or this company doesn't see this as a good business decision does not mean it's not a good artistic decision.
Right.
And so finding those champions, finding the people who believe in you, whether they believe in you by sharing you with people or they believe in you with their pocketbook, finding those people is part of the fun artistic process, part of finding your friends who play TTRPGs and then you can join them, finding people who see the value in you as a human being and as an artist, and then building from there.
Right.
That, I think, is kind of how you do it. I have very specifically cultivated a life because I'm so busy. If I'm going to be working 24 hours a day, I'm going to be working with people I like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's smart.
Very much cultivated a life where if I'm going to be filming with you 18 hours a day, do I want to hang out with you after that? Or do I want to run home and cry?
That's our criteria. Yeah. If the only people I involve myself in, could I stand going to get a drink with you at the bar afterward?
Exactly.
And if I probably can't, I don't know if I really want to do a whole lot more, you know?
Yeah. And do you make me want to create more, or do you make me nervous, or all of those things? Again, it's the same as a love relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can bring the best out in each other and still want to spend more time with each other and enjoy the company of the people you're around, as a creator, as an artist, as anything, and in any career, after a certain level, you're like, everybody's talented.
Mhm.
So who do I want to hang out with on top of meeting this bar of talent? Those are the people I want to work with, which is one of the
Absolutely.
reasons into producing, so that I could just very carefully create these tiny little villages of people who love working with each other, love playing with each other, and want to create together.
But beautiful
for
things
sure.
come from that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a
So-
harmony
Yeah.
in it.
And
Look,
you,
some of my favorite relationships in my life came from a terrible show.
Mhm.
hey, exactly. And then you can go
If
on
you
and do
enjoyed
better
making
stuff.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you go do better stuff.
Yep.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
That I'll do one more thing here because I know you got to get going pretty soon. But speaking of the career and the working nonstop and everything, I actually you had some very inspiring words in a Steve Bloom Vox when you were a guest on there. I think it's already been like over a year, I think, that you were on, but I attended that, and all of it was amazing advice. Loved all of it about the voiceover and the just acting in general. But one of the coolest things I thought, because I felt this way too, is, Candace and I have been really wanting to be more creative over the next couple years and really get our stuff out there and start doing more things like that. But you said that, when people say, oh, if you do what you love, you're never going to work a day again in your life. And I get, we all get what that means, but you basically called, crap on that. Like, you're like, no, you're going to work.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're,
absolutely.
yeah, you're gonna work more basically, and not every day is gonna be fun. You said, which is another, maybe it's the dark, Scandinavian in me that picks up on those things, but to me, it's a very cool, realistic thing that makes people feel better is that, you're not always gonna have super fun. Not every day is gonna be just, you think it's all gonna be glitz and glamour. We see people, you're rocking out, you're doing all this cool stuff. Not every second of every day is a total joy. You got to work through it just like everybody else. It's
gonna be hard. We look
right.
at athletes, for example, pro
Yeah.
athletes. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I know very few people who work as hard as they do,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
yet we glorify their lives so much and
Right.
forget so much of their life is pain.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's
Literal.
something they want to
Mhm.
suffer for. There's a
Right.
beautiful, there's an author I love named Todd Henry, and he has a book called Die Empty. And in that book, he talks about the fallacy of like, we just got to follow your bliss, follow your passion. Okay, well, at the root, the Latin root of the word passion is the Latin word to suffer.
Mhm.
So really, it's what are you willing to suffer for?
Right.
And does that make you happy? Not happy, like joyful, but does that fulfill you? That kind of joy. That's the joy you follow. It's not pleasure.
Right.
And they're two
Yes.
very different things.
Right.
Very
And
different.
it's definitely not comfortable. Because
Right.
I think comfort is a little bit the death of joy. Other than
Mhm.
like, you got to have a comfortable bed. That's about
Right.
it.
Right.
Everything else in my life, there's just a little bit of discomfort.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Because keeping yourself sort of off balance is where all that creativity comes from. That's why you
Mhm.
have to stay hungry. You got to be a hungry artist.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. For sure.
Absolutely. I
Well,
agree.
very cool. We know you got to get going, and we hope that you can come.
sorry.
No, you're good. We hope you can come back again anytime you want. If you get some free time coming up, we would love to have you talk some more about games and more games and stuff like
You know
that.
where
But
to find me. You know who
absolutely,
to talk to. I love these kinds of conversations where we really get to get deeply into it.
yes,
And I
for sure.
appreciate you guys being so active online and sharing so much
Yeah.
online.
Absolutely. We love supporting all of our creative friends. So before you go though, we got to do a couple of the really
Quick
hard-hitting questions.
questions.
This is the big stuff. Friendships have been ruined. I've had to block some people.
I already know what one of these questions is, I think, but okay.
Okay. All right. Well, so first off, this is the one that I have lost some serious friends over. If you had a choice in the house, and this is like bedroom, living room, places like that, non-food places, are you team carpet or hardwood?
Oh, hardwood.
I'm a mix. I'm a mix.
Let me tell you why. Hardwood, you can always cover with a rug,
Mhm.
Okay.
right?
You got the option.
Essentially, you've got both options. Once you're in carpet,
That's it.
after a few years, it's going to get stinky, it's going to get stained, it's a pain in the ass to take care of. But we have hardwood with carpets all over the house, and
Okay.
I'm in love with our little carpets.
Yeah.
All right.
So I like the versatility of hardwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, if
I
you
like
like wood and it's really slick, like the one downstairs in our house, you can recreate the Tom Cruise thing from Whiskey.
Oh yeah.
Well, see, I do
yeah.
that in our basement. Or my basement's all like vinyl flooring, and me and the cat are constantly doing that scene all the time.
Every
So
time my husband
Every time.
does something, he like tries to like ice skate in his socks, I'm convinced that we're gonna end up in the emergency room. So,
right, yeah,
but you know,
worth it though. Totally worth it.
totally worth
I
it for the
Come on, yeah. All right, Candace had one too. She's got a special one for you. So
Out of all of the characters in Critical Role, who would you want to back you up in a fight?
Boof. all three campaigns.
I
All
told
three
you these are hard.
campaigns.
These are hard, man.
And even the little side campaigns.
Yeah.
EXU.
Yep.
Okay, but there's
It can
so
be-
many questions I have, like questions to parse under that. Like, what kind of fight am I
Think End Boss, Major Dragon, all the magic. End of the world
Yeah.
Right.
battle.
Yeah. The world is riding on this, literally.
I feel like it's gonna have to be. You're gonna have to work with me here because I'm gonna have to team up two characters.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's perfect.
Because obviously, I'm a little bit closer to them right now because it's in
Yes.
campaign 3.
Yes.
But I think the combination of Imogen and Ashton is undefeated.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. No, that's great.
With her freaking crazy red moon magic,
Yes.
his I have the blood of Titans within me. And I also don't
Yep.
give enough about anything.
Exactly.
I think that team. Yeah, I think that's the team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Don't make me choose my favorite child. Why are you doing it to me?
I was like, well, if you need to make a group, that's fine.
I'll tell you my pick
Top
would
three.
be my pick is just Candace and Marisha high kicking because we have a picture of that. Them.
Wait a minute, I thought you meant characters.
No, I did.
No,
She
no,
did. She
I
did.
did
But
it. I did
I'm
it.
going
I would
extra
say-
meta. I'm
yeah.
going. Well, yeah, obviously Marisha in a fist fight. You know, if you're in a street fight,
like,
yeah.
Our girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Can you imagine the team of like Marisha and Travis?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
I
No.
mean, come on.
We'll throw some pictures of Candace and Marisha doing their
Yeah.
thing because it's
Yeah, I
pretty
love
hilarious.
it.
But she
Okay.
tried it with Robbie, but I think she broke Robbie's hip. So
I broke
don't
my
know.
hip too at the same
Robbie's a
Poor
time.
Robbie.
hiker, not a fighter. He's a hiker.
He
He's a
is.
hiker.
Really,
Yeah.
he is extraordinarily fit. In
Yeah.
that
Oh
way.
yeah, for
Yes,
sure,
he
for
is.
sure. I think it
sure.
was the pants. Honestly, the pants were like limiting
It was
him
the
from
pants.
getting
Yeah,
full.
He didn't stretch. I didn't
kick.
either.
Yeah.
So.
I
No.
always take pictures of myself doing the splits all over the world, and sometimes I do it in jeans, and then I regret my life choices.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Pain.
absolutely.
Pure pain. Okay, our final
final
one.
one.
Yeah, our final one is because you're married to an actual rock star.
Yeah.
What is your desert island album? If you were abandoned somewhere on a beach, one piece of music, what would it be? What album?
What album or what song? Because you said one piece of music.
Well,
One
we're
album.
giving you an album. We're giving you an entire album. Desert Island album.
I don't think I can do this. This one I don't
Mhm.
think I can do. And it's super cheesy for me to pick one of his, even though I want to.
Hey,
Um,
it's allowed. Okay, I'll tell you what. We'll do two. We'll do which of Rick's group's albums and then
Or a
an
song.
album of your own. How about that?
Yeah.
okay. Still too hard.
Okay.
Now you complicated the question.
Right. It's even more confusing.
This
Yeah.
was this. I just made it more confusing.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh God, I can't do it. There's just too much.
All right, I'll tell you what then. You have to come back and you can think about it until then, and
Okay,
then
thank you.
we'll,
Yeah.
that'll be our segue to the next
I will
one.
do my homework
Right.
and I will come back when I have an answer.
Okay. All right.
Love it.
All right. So I'll see you in 2027. Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah.
See you in 2 years. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I'll at least have a top 10. Maybe I'll have a playlist for you.
Oh, there you go. That's
Love it. I
perfect.
love it.
I love it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. And Anjali, thank you so much for giving us your time. We can't wait to talk to you again. We'll put all your socials up there. We'll put Rick's socials up there, Vintage Trouble, everybody. Anything you want to send us, we can put on there if you've got anything upcoming that you're allowed to talk about or push.
Definitely Daisy Quest. Please share Daisy Quest
Yes.
with the world.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of it.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure I'm going to forget something. I always forget something that's going on there. So just the socials is the place to find it.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Check her out on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. And we will put the links in our description. So can't wait to see you again. Thank you so much for being on and hanging out with us.
Yeah, you guys take care.
All right, we'll do for sure.